Hey everybody, it's me, Queenie. Welcome to the Queen Boss Confidence Challenge. I'm excited to join you today, and we're about to have fun. So we're going to listen to this music for a second while I share this out to my other pages so everybody can join us. I'm excited, y'all. I'm a little emotional too, so I might cry. But it's all good. We're about to get started. We're going to be talking about how to blow through your abundance blocks, how to finally unleash your queen confidence and become completely unstoppable in life and business. And I'm super excited. Super excited. So how in the world do I share this? It's not giving me the option. Hold on. I'm excited. Let's see. Welcome, welcome. Okay. There we go. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to share from my phone. So hold on a second. So we are about to get started. Oh no, I turned off the music, but that's all right. I want to make sure we're going to get it going. I'm Queenie Brown. I am your host today for the Queen Boss Confidence Immersion, and we are going to have a fabulous time. It is going to be amazing. Just bear with me while I invite a few folks over. Hang on. Let's see here. Okay. We're just going to get started in just a moment. My apologies for the delay. I'll post in the comments afterwards so you guys will know exactly how to get back. Here we go. Let's see here. There I am. Where's the live? There we are. All right. All right. Sharing it to my group so my supernatural women will be able to join. All right. We're about to get started and do this thing. I'm excited, ladies. Okay. And gentlemen, I know that you guys are joining us too. So let's get it going. Hey there, I see someone watching. Welcome, welcome. So today we're going to be talking about how to release your abundance blocks, how to turn on and unleash that queen confidence and really become unstoppable in both life and business. And so who am I? I am Queenie Brown. I'm an author, a healer, a transformational coach, and a business strategist. And I am excited about what we're going to be talking about today. All of us know that abundance is our birthright. We know that we are created to live in abundance, but we don't realize that there are things that are locking us out of our abundance. And then once we find a way through that lock, we have things that are blocking us from that abundance. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to give you some very actionable tips at the end. So just stick with me. So before we get started, let me just share a little bit about my story. I remember I'm from Los Angeles, and I grew up in a very multicultural, diverse environment. And so I had friends from all walks of life. And I remember growing up, I didn't grow up very religious. My mother believed in God. She prayed every day. I remember her falling on her knees at night, every night to pray. And she taught us to do that. But I never felt like the weight of condemnation and judgment that a lot of people feel inside of religion. And so I remember going to all different types of churches growing up. I went to Baptist churches, Methodist churches, Kingdom halls. I went to Catholic churches, mosques. I've been to so many different churches, and because I have friends from so many different walks of life, and I became very curious about why people worshiped God so differently and why the rules always were different. In one church you couldn't wear pants, another church you couldn't wear makeup, another church you had to say these different chants. Some churches wouldn't allow women to preach, some would. There were just all these different facets that were interesting to me at the time. But of course I was young and I didn't really care about anything more than being in the choir, so so that was the extent of my interest at the time. But as I got older, I started to pay attention to the messages that were being shared in churches. And something just didn't resonate with me. I believed God. I believed the Bible. I knew that I wanted to understand it more in depth, but I didn't have anyone really to guide me through it. And it just seemed like an insurmountable task. So until I met some friends in the late 90s, some Seventh-day Adventist friends, and they were like students of the word. They would get in there and they learned how to understand the history, the context, the culture, the society at the time. They knew how to tear through that word. And so I remember saying to one of my friends, his name was Wendell, I said, Wendell, I don't want to know what you know. I don't want you to spit out all this stuff. I don't want to know what you know. I want to know how you know what you know. Teach me how to study it. Teach me how to dig through the Bible, dig through history, dig through culture, dig through language, understand it so that I know in my knower for sure what I know. Because I've been exposed to too many different things that a lot of them were contradictory. A lot of them didn't feel like love. A lot of them didn't feel like the message that I felt like Christ came to share. So I wanted to dig in deeper. Now, fast forward a few years, my body started falling apart. I got really, really sick, incredibly sick. My neck and shoulders were so tight. They were all the way up here. I couldn't turn to the left or the right to drive. It was in 24/7 pain constantly, all day, every day for not just a month, not just a year, but for a period of probably 24/7 pain, almost 12 years. But in the very beginning, I remember the symptoms were just wide ranging. Oh gosh, just even thinking about it, it might bring me to tears because I cannot even believe I was in such pain. But my neck and shoulders had gotten so tight that it literally pulled my spine out of alignment and caused 5 discs to rupture in my back. Oh goodness. Anyway, enough of that. I'll go into more depth about that at another time, but we've got a lot to get to, so I want to hurry through this. Anyway, I remember I had been seeing a team of doctors trying to figure out what the heck was wrong. What do I do? How do I move through it? And ultimately, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which basically means they don't know. They just threw a bunch of pills at me and said, take a bunch of therapy, take a bunch of needles, and it was just a mess. But anyway, so in the depths of that, I remember I had my second but most powerful spiritual experience of my entire life. And I want to share that with you. It was Thanksgiving weekend in the year 2000. My husband told me that he didn't want to talk all weekend long. And so you imagine my response. I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to talk all weekend long? I don't have any family here in Georgia. I'm sick. I'm walking around like with all this ice on my body, a belt around my waist, the neck brace. I've got these ugly hospital shoes on, and I'm slopping around in here in the kitchen trying to cook. And all you want me to do is not talk all weekend? And he said yes. So, and the crazy thing is we weren't at odds at all. We weren't fighting. It was just an unction that came over him. And so, which I now know that was God. But what ended up happening is I said to him, all right, every thought, every idea, every joke, whatever it is I want to talk to you about, I'm going to write it down. And then on Monday, I'm going to let you have it. And he agreed. So as I'm cooking Thanksgiving dinner, I got an idea and I wrote it down. Then I'm still cooking and I wrote it down and I wrote it down. And then all day I continued to write. And then I got on a roll and I just felt like I was purging on the paper. So all day Thursday I wrote, all day Friday I wrote, all day Saturday I wrote. And by around dusk on Saturday night, I started to read what I had written. And the weight of what was on the page just kind of really took me back. I found myself on the floor weeping and rocking and in shock because I realized that it wasn't me writing all that time. It wasn't me writing. It was God writing through me, to me. And he was showing me how. He was showing me how I went down this path to learn this thing, to give me this gift, to connect me to this person so that when I got here to this next step, I'd be able to do this and I would have this wisdom because it was going to support me when I get to this place. And he showed me this and he took me here. Hey, Alicia, he took me to all of these memories from my past and showed me how he had been orchestrating my life the entire time and how it was all to support this bigger vision. And in addition to that, he told me that that my body would be healed ultimately, but that my story of the healing is what was going to change the lives of women worldwide. Now, the weight of responsibility that fell on my shoulders in that moment, it was palatable, because all I could think about was I could barely take a flight of stairs. I could barely breathe. I mean, I had to hang my feet off of the bed because at night it felt like a flame was underneath my feet, my neck and shoulders. I had pain shooting up into my brain, shooting down into my arms, shooting from my waist down into my legs. It was constant. Even a hug was excruciating. So I couldn't imagine how I was going to do any of that God said that I was going to do. And it scared me, just being totally honest with you. So his instructions to me at the time were, keep writing, trust him, and when he told me to do something, to do it. Those are my 3 instructions. And so that was in the year 2000. I continued to do that. And over a period of 12 years, it took me 11 years to move through enough of my journey to finish my book. And through that process, they told me I would never have babies. They told me, goodness. But the crazy part about all of it was that I was in so much pain and so much agony for so long. I became incredibly depressed. I became incredibly isolated because I couldn't do anything. It was just awful. And I believed the doctors. I believed that I wouldn't be able to have babies because I knew I could barely take a flight of stairs. I knew that, I trusted God. I went to all these healing meetings and all of that. But at the same time, I knew what I was walking in. That pain was real. But the great thing about faith is, as long as you trust and keep moving and keep stepping, you will be on the other side. And today I'm on the other side. I gave birth to 2 miracle babies in my mid-40s. I finished my book, and now I'm sharing my story. So I'm excited that we're here today to talk about it. Okay, so that's a little bit about my background. And so I wanted to say to you, though, as I go through this, as we begin talking about the confidence immersion, I might trigger you. And there may be some things that I say that might rub up against some of your beliefs or rub up against some of your fears. But the intention here is to challenge you to take a look at some of the things that you are believing about yourself, about God, about what's possible for you, because it's those are the things that are blocking your abundance. Those are the things that are in the way of you stepping into your power. And so we're gonna go there. I know I might make you uncomfortable, but I want to start off by saying these are the givens. You remember in math when you would say given, x is equal to 1. Well, if x is equal to 1, 1 plus x equals 2. X is always going to be equal to 1. I know that was kind of, anyway. The bottom line is, these are the givens. Given number 1, I love God. Given number 2, I trust God. I trust the Bible. I have taken it upon myself to take a depth of study to understand what it is that I'm sharing with you. So I'm not just saying something just because it sounds good, or I'm not just making something up. I'm saying to you what I feel God revealed to me, what I walked out, and how I got the results. So just know that and hold on. Here we go. All right. So, excuse me. One of the things that we want to talk about today is how to unlock your abundance. What do I mean by that? I believe that part of our inability to walk in the power that we have within us is because we are not even at all clear about who and what we really are. And not only that, we're not clear about the authority that we hold because of who and what we are. We're also not clear about the inheritance that we have because we're not clear about who and what we are. And then that makes it difficult for us to walk in our assignment, to walk in our legacy and the impact that we've been designed to make, because we're not clear about who and what we really are. So I want to show you a picture, an image, and I printed this out. I was going to try to show it to you on my screen, but I don't want to mess things up. And when I printed it, it didn't print completely the correct color, but you'll still get the message. All right, I want you to close your eyes for a second and just take a deep breath and think about who you are and how you see yourself. Think about who you are and how you see yourself. Okay, now open your eyes. Can you see that? What do you see? Type it in the comments if you can. What do you see? What does it mean to you? What's coming up for you? Okay? The reason I want you to see this is because this is most of us. This is most of us. How can I hold it? We don't realize how powerful we are, and so we walk around powerless. We see ourselves as this little, on this side, we see ourselves as this little kitty cat. And we don't realize that we are the kings of the jungle. We really literally are running things. But because we don't see ourselves powerfully, we don't walk in that power. Okay? I had to come to the realization about this for myself, because even in the midst of my pain, I surrendered and became that little kitty cat. I became scared and alone and timid and shy, which that was not me. I allowed the pain to overtake me in my life. And we all do this. It can be a relationship that creates that for you. It could be wounds from childhood that creates that for you. It could be inadequacy on the job. Whatever feelings you are holding within you about who you are is what you're projecting out to the world. And whether or not you are seeing yourself as that lion or seeing yourself as that kitty cat, that plays a big role in whether or not you're standing in your power. Because the truth is, if this lion sees himself as this kitty cat, it's going to affect how he eats, right? He's not going to be able to get out there and kill an antelope or whatever it is he needs to kill and eat if he's not seeing himself as powerful. It's going to affect where he lives, because he's going to choose to be docile and hide. It's going to affect how he associates himself, because he's not going to feel confident to be in a pride of lions, right? It's going to affect every single thing about him. And so likewise, the way we see ourselves impacts everything about how we show up, right? So if you're there with me, give me some love. Make sure that let me know that you're there. Hey, Veronica, I'm glad you're here, love. Excuse me. So I wanted to talk about that, because our self-image is what keeps us from being and walking in our power. And it's our power, being in our power, that opens the doors to our abundance. Okay, that's the first step. Then the second step of that is, once you've recognized who you are, and we'll go deeper into all of this in just a moment, but once you recognize who you are and you open those doors, then you got to deal with the blocks that are there, the blocks that look like unforgiveness or unworthiness or anger or bitterness or resentment or jealousy. All that stuff keeps you from, hey, Charles, all of that stuff keeps you from being able to stand in your power, right? So, and I have walked in all of those. I remember when I was at the depth of my illness, I was angry. I got very angry because I couldn't wear high heels, y'all. I had a hard time, recognizing and dealing with the fact that my being sick, people didn't understand how sick I was. People didn't understand in how much pain I was. And I found myself isolating myself from my friends because they couldn't get it. And then you become jealous. I became jealous of my friends that were able to get out and do their thing, and here it is. I'm stuck in the bed on medication. I started to become envious of people who were walking in their calling, and I wasn't able to do that yet. I know now that it wasn't my time, and that I had to move through the wisdom that I was to glean in order to be able to stand here powerfully and share my story with you now. But I didn't understand that then. Back then, I wanted to get out there and do my thing too. So there are a lot of things within us emotionally that end up blocking us, and we've got to learn how to heal and how to rise through those things. And then there's things outside of us too. You have relationships with the other people, and they impact you as well. So we talked about unlocking your abundance, and now we're talking about unblocking your abundance. Now, is there anything that's coming up as I'm talking to you? Is there anything that you recognize that it has been in the way for you, that has been Is it your self-image? Are you seeing yourself as powerful? Are you seeing yourself as a little kitty cat? If all the kitty cats, raise your hand. Because I feel that is a huge, huge hurdle that we all need to overcome. So, excuse me. The key here is in understanding who we really are. We are not just a body. We are not just a mind. We are not even just a spirit. We are spiritual energy, just like God, made in the image of God, like God. I see God as spiritual energy that's unlimited. And when you think about that, you have to think about it in terms of frequency, vibration, and just its energy. And we don't ever consider it that way. But if you look in the Bible at some of the things that Jesus was able to do, like he was able to walk on water, what is that? That's vibrationally, he was able to move his molecules faster than the cells of the water, which allowed him to walk on it. Okay, when he was able to move through walls, vibrationally, if you can move your cells fast enough, you can disappear. That's a part of, that's how energy works. That's why we can't see different rays. We can't see, excuse me, pardon me. We can't see different scales of light because of the vibration of energy. We can't hear at certain heights or depths because of the vibration of energy. So because we have to get clear about who and what we are, it makes a huge difference in the way you see yourself, right? So if we are not just a body, you think about what your body really is. Your body is a biochemical engineering masterpiece. How did I describe it before? Biochemical, oh goodness, I can't think of what I used, the words that I used before, but the bottom line is our bodies are a tool that we possess in order to manifest in this life, right? And so if we learn how to use that tool, it changes the game for us. Our soul is our mind, it's our will, our emotions, our thinker, the feeler part of us, the chooser part of us, the one that makes the path through life manage. Man, I'm not saying this correctly. How do I want to say this? Your soul is the part of you that connects you to the rest of the world. It's a part of you that allows you to interact with the intellectual realm. Your spirit, that energy part of you, is the part that allows you to connect with the spiritual realm, but it is the essence of who you are at your core, okay? And your body is the part of you that protects, sustains, and procreates. It helps you to have texture in this world to be able to do the things that you need to do. So if you understand who you are, that you are a God, a little g, living on the inside of this body, that you have the power to do what Jesus said he did. He said that he was the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And he said that we would do greater works than he ever did. Well, we are the kings and lords that he is king and lord over. And so we, just like he's the Lion of Judah, so are we. He's our big brother. Hey, Kim, how you doing, darling? It's good to see you. He said that we would do greater works than he ever did. But if we don't recognize that we are walking in that very same power, we don't realize that we are that very same identity. He is the firstborn of many brethren. We are the brethren. He's the big brother. We are the brothers and sisters that are walking in his footsteps. Jesus came here to show us how to do it, not to be just this deity that we worship. Yes, we love and appreciate and worship God, but we also have to recognize that he's the example. He's showing us who we are. He's showing us what we can do, and then telling us that we're supposed to do even more. So when you think about power, you have to really think about what's possible. And in the Bible, it says all things are possible. So that means creating abundance for your life is possible. That means healing your body is possible. That means healing your heart is possible. We've got to realize what is possible because of who and what we are. And it has nothing to do with who you know. It has nothing to do with what you can do. It has everything to do with who and what you are. Y'all get that? So I'm excited today to introduce this to you, to just start the conversation, to open it up, because there's so much more available to us once we really just align with our power, align with our truest identity, our ultimate self-image. Excuse me. So how are you seeing yourself? When you're faced with a challenge, do you feel like you can lean into your God-likeness and become powerful and manifest whatever it is that needs to be manifested in that moment? Or do you feel like, you know what, I'm not seeing myself that way yet? When you think about it, Jesus, every single thing that he tried to do, he did, even when he didn't think he was ready. If y'all remember the first miracle he did, he didn't think he was ready. His mom said, go do whatever he tells you to do, because he's not ready. He doesn't even know he has it. And that's us. We are ready. We don't even know we have it, but until we lean into it. Okay, so he never attempted to do something that failed. When he attempted to feed the 5,000 people, everybody ate and there was plenty left over. When he attempted to raise Lazarus from the dead, Lazarus got up. When he attempted to heal the sick, they got recovered. They recovered. So that's how we have to start seeing our lives. Like we have somehow bought into the idea, and there's a reason for it, and we'll talk about that too. But we have somehow bought into the idea that we have to wait on God. When God is like, I'm in you. I'm not out there. I'm not in the sky, something that you worship that's outside of you. I'm in here. I dwell in here. So if there's something to be done, let's get it done. But if we don't believe that, if we believe that God is outside of us, that he's something, he needs to land on us or fall on me, Holy Spirit. No, the Holy Spirit is in you already, powerful and complete. And so when we attempt to do something, there is a possibility that we shouldn't fail at all, ever. Now, we're human, but let me say that differently. Because you're not just a mere human. You are not an ordinary person. You are not a regular Joe. You are not an average anything. And if we see ourselves that way, we will get average. If we see ourselves as less than, we will receive less than. But if you recognize who you are, understand the power that you hold, recognize that there's a way to activate that power, and until you know how to do it, it's time to start asking the questions so that you can figure it out. Recognize that you have the power to do anything and everything and create abundance, because that's the way that God created the world. Everything was created in abundance. Everything. You look at the trees, try counting the leaves. You look at the grass, try counting the blades. You look at the earth, try counting the trees. Try counting the stars. Everything God created, he created in abundance, just like us. And so if we are made in his image, we have the ability to create just like God. We have the ability to heal just like Jesus. We have the ability to build and do whatever it is that's in our hearts to do. But we've got to realize that there is a power that we have to acknowledge and align with our self-image so that we can activate it, right? So I'm going to get off my soapbox today. Tomorrow, well, let me just go forward real quickly. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be opening up a Rise retreat. It is going to be a 4-week online oasis where we are going to step into our power and really become unstoppable. I'm going to go into depth on each of these things that we've talked about. And I'm going to make it real clear so that you understand how to begin to embrace this identity that is you, and understand what are some of the things that have prevented you from even being able to get that message. So we're going to be doing the Rise retreat. If you're at all interested in joining me, send me a direct message and we'll talk about it. I'm going to be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and I'm excited about having you join me for this confidence immersion, because we are going to learn how to stand in our power, stand in our authority, stand in our identity, and walk out our assignments together. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you more than you know. And leave a comment. If you're watching the replay, make sure you leave me a replay so that I can say hey. All right. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.